While Washington tightens its grip with tariffs and withdrawals, Beijing is quietly weaving a web that might just reshape global power. Trump's America is closing doors, but every time one shuts, China seems ready to open a window. Since Donald Trump's return to the White House, the world has been watching a foreign policy unlike anything seen in decades. Instead of patient diplomacy and long-term alliances, Trump's second term has been built on tariffs, threats, and withdrawals. He slapped a 10% baseline tariff on nearly all imports, pulled funding from UN agencies like the World Health Organization, and hinted at another U.S. withdrawal from UNESCO. For allies, that means unpredictability. For rivals, an opportunity. That's where China steps in. While Washington is using trade as a weapon, Beijing has been using connectivity as strategy. It's expanding the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, deepening the BRICS bloc, and building what analysts call a networked alternative to Western-led systems. Not a new empire, but a web of forums, swap lines, and infrastructure deals that link countries without requiring loyalty to one single power. At the SCO summit in Tianjin, leaders approved a 10-year plan and advanced the idea of an SCO development bank. In parallel, BRICS expanded to 11 members, bringing in countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, Egypt, and Indonesia. It's no longer just a forum. It's becoming a diplomatic magnet for the global south. Even global finance is shifting in subtle ways. China's cross-border payment system, known as CIPS, processed nearly 175 trillion yuan in transactions last year, a massive rise. Meanwhile, the euro-renminbi swap line between the European Central Bank and the People's Bank of China has been quietly extended. Each of these moves chips away, bit by bit, at America's dollar dominance. Now, this doesn't mean China is taking over the world. Beijing has its own problems, slowing growth, property sector instability, and local debt. But what it's doing differently is staying consistent. While the U.S. swings between engagement and retreat every election cycle, China projects continuity. It shows up, builds roads, finances power grids, and avoids messy political lectures. That's attractive for many countries that are tired of uncertainty from Washington. On the other side, the U.S. risks being seen as transactional rather than trustworthy. Trump's tariffs and America First playbook may score domestic political points, but they're pushing even close allies to hedge, to quietly create backup plans that don't rely on U.S. systems. This is the core shift. The post-war world ran on the assumption that Washington was the stable center. Today, power is becoming polycentric, spread out, issue by issue, region by region. Security through SCO-style coordination. Economy through BRICS finance and swap networks. Technology through rival standards clubs. And culture through competing narratives. The result isn't a new Cold War. It's a crowded skyline of competing bridges, each connecting a few blocks, none controlled by a single city. In that sense, the article's message is clear. When Trump closes doors, China doesn't need to kick them open. It just builds another hallway around them. The U.S. still holds enormous power, militarily, technologically, and financially. But power without predictability loses gravity. If Trump keeps turning away from global institutions, expect Beijing to keep expanding its quiet architecture of alternatives. And that might be the real story of this decade, not America versus China, but the slow, steady rise of a world with no single center.